All right, let's talk about something that can be a real headache. Being asked to prove your source of funds and source of wealth. It sounds super complicated, I know, but trust me, by the end of this quick explainer, you're going to understand exactly what it is, why it's a thing, and how to handle it with no stress.
So, has this ever happened to you? You're all set to open an account, maybe make a big investment, and bam, they hit you with this request for all your personal financial documents. It feels a bit nosy, doesn't it? Like, why do they need to know all that? Well, let's get into it.
Okay, here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll look at why they even ask. That's guarding the system. Then, we'll clear up the difference between funds versus wealth. After that, we'll cover the risk triggers that make them look closer. Section 4 is all about the paperwork, your document story. And finally, we'll wrap up with the final checkpoints. All right, Section 1, guarding the system. So, why do financial institutions even ask for this stuff? I mean, what's the big deal? Well, you might be surprised to hear it's not really about you or your personal finances. It's way bigger than that. It's about protecting the whole financial system. Yeah, this is the key thing to remember. It's not your bank just being nosy. They are legally required to do this. It's all part of a huge global effort to stop some really bad stuff. We're talking money laundering, financing for terrorism, you name it. So think of your bank or investment firm as a kind of gatekeeper. They're on the front lines making sure dirty money doesn't get washed clean through the system we all use.
Okay, so that's the why. Now let's get into the what. This is really the core of it all. Understanding the difference between two simple ideas: funds versus wealth. You're going to hear these two terms a lot, source of funds and source of wealth. And yeah, they sound super similar, but they are absolutely not the same thing. They tell two very different stories.
So let's break it down, side by side. Source of funds, or SOF for short, is all about the specific money you're using right now. It's a snapshot. Where did this particular chunk of cash come from? On the other hand, you've got source of wealth, or SOW. This is the big picture, the whole movie. It's the story of how you built up your total net worth over your entire life. So one is about the journey of this money, the other is about the journey of all your money. Okay, let's zoom in on source of funds. Think of it like this. Let's say you want to invest, $20,000. The question they're asking is, where did that specific $20,000 come from? Did you just get paid? Maybe it's from your last couple pay slips. Did you sell your car? Or maybe it was a work bonus. It's literally the immediate history of that money. Now, source of wealth. If source of funds was the short story, this is the epic novel. It answers a much broader question. How did you get to a point in your life where you have $20,000 to invest in the first place? This is your whole financial backstory. It could be your 20-year career in a certain industry, a portfolio of smart investments you made over time, or maybe you sold a business. It's the long-term story that proves your overall wealth is legit. Right. So you might be wondering, okay, I get it, but why does my friend just get approved instantly while I'm being asked for 1 million documents? That is a great question, and the answer is all about risk. Certain things just automatically trigger a deeper look. And here are some of those triggers. We're talking about things like connections to what are considered high-risk countries, or if your money comes from a high-risk business like, say, crypto. Another big one is if you're a politically exposed person or a PEP, even negative media mentions or just a transaction that seems unusually large or complicated can do it. Any of these things raise a little red flag, and that kicks off something called enhanced due diligence, which honestly just means they're going to ask for more proof. So, what does that more proof actually look like? This brings us to the really practical part, your document story. What's the actual paper trail you need to show them? Basically, every source of money has a document that tells its story. If your money's from your job, you'll show them recent payslips. Sold a property, you'll need that sale and purchase agreement. If you inherited money, a copy of the will or a letter from the lawyer handling the estate is exactly what they need. You see the pattern, right? It's all about connecting the funds to an official piece of paper. And here's a pro tip. If you know you're about to make a big financial move, get these documents ready in advance. It will save you so much time. Okay, we're almost there. So you've gathered your documents, you've submitted everything. What happens next? Let's look at the final checkpoints. It's usually a pretty simple process from here. First, you submit your documents. Then, their internal team takes a look. Now, they might come back with a couple of follow-up questions. That's totally normal. And then, once everything checks out, bam, your account is ready to use. And seriously, this is probably the most important thing to remember. If they ask for more info, do not worry.
It's a completely standard part of the process. It doesn't mean they think you've done something wrong. It just means their team is doing its job and making sure every detail is crystal clear.
So that kind of leaves us with a big question to think about, right? In our super connected world, is this deep level of financial transparency just the new normal? Is it the price we pay for a more secure global economy? It's something to chew on for sure, but at least now you know exactly why they're asking. Thanks for tuning in.